What's up, guys? Welcome to Mets Central. I am Core Python, if you're not familiar with my main YouTube channel where I cover mostly the New York Rangers, and I did cover the Mets on that channel as well. But I have decided to team up with fellow YouTuber C Jets, if you're not familiar with him, and on TikTok, that Sports Maniac, my co-host of my former Mets podcast and my Rangers podcast, Nico. We all decided to team up and form a Mets Central YouTube channel. So we just went with the name Mets Central because why not? Flows well. And we're going to be covering strictly the Mets on this channel. So this is the place to be for all things Mets. We're going to bring you the best Mets content that you could imagine when it comes to post-game reactions from me, whether it's short content from Nico, whether it's podcast episodes, live game reactions, everything. You name it, we're going to bring you the best Mets content we possibly can on pretty much a daily basis if we can as well. So we're going to put our all into this. We're very committed to this. So you guys will definitely see, and we're definitely going to look to add to more members for this group because we definitely want to make this a legit thing. But if you're not familiar with me, like I said, I'm Core Python, and I do these post-game type reaction videos for the New York Rangers for hockey. So I also do them for the Mets on that channel, but not anymore. Now that's all going to be here. So if you are familiar with me, you know what I'm about to do. You know what we're going to do. We're going to talk about this game. But Mets win, baby, 10-9 over the Cleveland Guardians in game 46 of the regular season. What a game for us to start this channel on as well. What a game. And dare I say, the Mets might be back after winning a series against the Tampa Bay Rays, the best team in baseball, and now completing a comeback like this against a pretty good Cleveland Guardians team. And it started off very, very ugly, obviously, which we're going to talk about. Before we do, leave a like on the video if you do enjoy. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're Met fans. Going to cover them heavily, like I mentioned, and turn on your notifications so you know when we upload or go live here on the channel. But let's talk about this one. So Steven Kwan would lead things off with a pop out. Ahmed Rosario would, of course, get a single because why wouldn't he? And then Jose Ramirez walks, and Josh Naylor crushes one to right field to make it a 3-0 ball game. So Carlos Carrasco doing the Carlos Carrasco thing where the cookie crumbles in the first inning. And yeah, to say he didn't have it was definitely an understatement of how this thing went. Josh Bell then with a flyout and Andres Jimenez with a strikeout to get out of the jam. So 3 runs, definitely not ideal, but I guess it was good enough for them to win. But bottom of the first, the Mets go down in order. Nimmo strikes out, Lindor lines out, and McNeil strikes out. Top of the second comes along. Miles Straw with a leadoff double. Brennan then grounds out. Gallagher then with an RBI single to make it a 4-0 game. Steven Kwan then would ground into a double play to end the inning. So again, Carlos Carrasco just not looking good, whether it's soft contact, hard contact. He couldn't locate the plate at all. And then when he did, it was just right down the middle. There was just no winning here. Well, I mean, obviously there was, but it was unwatchable. It was unwatchable seeing Carlos Carrasco go out there today. And thankfully, he did somewhat settle in, which we'll talk about. But bottom of the second, Pete Alonso flies out to kick things off. Brett Beatty with a double. And then Marte strikes out, who has been struggling. And then Mark Vientos hits into a fielder's choice. We go to the top of the third. Ahmed Rosario and Jose Ramirez with back-to-back groundouts. And then Josh Naylor pops out. Bottom of the third, Canna strikes out. Alvarez gets hit by a pitch. Brandon Nimmo with a flyout, and then Francisco Lindor with a ground out. We go to the top of the fourth where Carrasco would pick up back-to-back groundouts from Bell and Jimenez, yet again getting back-to-back groundouts. So again, definitely settled in a bit, and then you got a strikeout for Miles Straw. Would have been nice to get some length, but and have this from the start, but unfortunately, the fifth didn't go so well. But bottom of the fourth, Mets almost get something going as McNeil lines out, Alonso flies out, Beatty with gets on from an error, Marte gets hit by a pitch, and Vientos flies out to end with a force out, I should say, to end the inning. Top of the fifth, Brennan walks to lead things off. He ends up getting a stolen base. Gallagher strikes out Kwan, grounds out, and then Ahmed Rosario with the inevitable RBI of the game for him as he gets himself an RBI single. Congratulations to all the bettors that put for Rosario and Lindor to get a hit and RBI in this game, you made yourself some good money. And then Jose Ramirez with a ground out to end the inning. And that was all for Carlos Carrasco. But we go to the bottom of the fifth. Mark Canha grounds out. And then Francisco Alvarez crushes one to left field. And I tweeted out, if you're not following me on Twitter, follow me there. But link will be in the description. But I tweeted out Francisco Chris Paul Alvarez, because Chris Paul with a huge 3 to cut the lead down the 42 is what that moment felt like for Francisco Alvarez. Oh boy, was I wrong about that. But he crushed that home run. And it's nice to see him having some success here and finding his rhythm here in the MLB, because I definitely had my questions early on with him. And I was wondering if he's even fit right now for the MLB. But clearly he is. Brandon Nimmo strikes out. Lindor then with a double. Jeff McNeil then with an RBI single. And then you had a little bit of an uh-oh play from Pete Alonso as he lines out to Rosario. But Rosario dropped the ball, and Alonso wasn't aware that that was going to happen, so he didn't run it out. And that is all she wrote there. Dominic Leone comes in the pitch for Carrasco. He allows back-to-back singles from Naylor and Bell, but gets himself out of trouble as Andres Jimenez lines out, and then he forces Straw into a double play. We go to the bottom of the sixth, where Brett Beatty hits himself an opposite field home run to cut the lead down the 5-3. You start to smell something like, yeah, maybe the Mets are actually going to do this. And then, unfortunately, they couldn't add any more runs as Marte flies out. Vientos strikes out. Canha with a single. And then that would be all for Cal Quantrill as he gets pulled for Henches, sure. And then Alvarez flies out to end the inning. We go to the top of the seventh. And yeah, things got ugly yet again as back-to-back singles were allowed to Brennan and Gallagher, and then Quan with a walk. So the bases were juiced, and Nogosek comes in, gets a huge double play, and then he walks Jose Ramirez, and he allows a single to Josh Naylor, and all of a sudden it is a 7-3 ball game. Then he throws a wild pitch, and that advances the runners. Josh Bell then with a walk. Tommy Hunter then had to come in to pitch, and he gets a ground out from Andres Jimenez, thankfully, to end the inning. And we go to the bottom of the seventh, where Nimmo leads things off with a walk. You have Lindor get himself a single. McNeil walks. Karinchak comes in the pitch, and you get a little nervous, but you still have hope that Pete Alonso maybe will do something special. And he does it. Grannies are sick, aren't they? And he crushes one to center field to make it a 7-7 ball game. And all of a sudden, the Mets have life, and it felt like a breath of fresh air, and it felt like, yeah, the Mets were going to win this ball game. Even when things got ugly, it felt like it still, no matter what. And then, unfortunately, Beatty and Marte strike out back-to-back. Vientos with a walk, but Canha would strike out, and that would be the end of the inning. Ottavino comes in the pitch for Hunter, and he ends up getting Straw to fly out. And then some nice defense from Lindor as they get back-to-back groundouts there. So we go to the bottom of the eighth, where De Los Santos came in the pitch for the Guardians, and he gets the Mets down in order, that being Alvarez, Nimmo, and Lindor. And then David Robertson came in the pitch in the ninth inning. Stephen Kwan ends up grounding out. Rosario grounds out. Ramirez grounds out. Another clean inning for David Robertson. Whew, don't have to sweat. Looking good. Bottom of the ninth, and the Mets go down in order as Stefan came in the pitch for the Guardians, and McNeil, Alonso, Beatty go down in order. Drew Smith comes in the pitch the top of the 10th, and oh boy, do I get worried when Drew Smith is on the mound, and rightfully so, as, of course, we love everyone's favorite rule in baseball, the free ghost runner on second base to start the inning, and it pays dividends for the Guardians in a way, as Naylor pops out, but Gabriel Urias would hit a home run to right to make it a 9-7 ball game. And yeah, all of a sudden it's oh boy. And then a ground out from Jimenez and a strikeout from Straw. We go to the bottom of the 10th. Clase comes in the pitch, and can you believe it? Marte with a fly out, but Vientos gets an RBI single to get the ghost runner in to make it a 9-8 game. And then all of a sudden, oh boy, Vogelback comes up to hit, and he strikes out. But Francisco Alvarez, the phenom, the rookie, gets himself a huge RBI single. He ends up getting the second on this play, but gets himself a huge RBI single to tie the game at 9. And we then have Nimmo gets himself a single. Runners on the corners, and Francisco Lindor smacks one right past Andres Jimenez, of all people, by second base to bring Alvarez home the score, to bring the Citi Field crowd home, to send them home, to win the ball game 10-9. Your winning pitcher in the ball game is Drew Smith. Funny enough, Manuel Clase with the blown save and the loss. Wow, the Mets actually beat an elite closer too. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Maybe something is turning around here for the season. And, you know, I'll definitely be the first to admit I've had my doubts. I've had my worries. But, man, if this is going to be the case and this offense starts to get brewing like this, it's only a matter of time, you would think, until the pitching gets going, right? You at least would hope. But I don't really know if I have much else to say or if I have anything really to break. Well, I do have things to break down, which let's do it. As I forgot to mention, hits were 12-11 in favor of the Mets. Errors, 1 for the Guardians, none for the Mets. But let's talk about it. As you can see, I have the stats right next to me. Looking the wrong way. Right next to me there. As Brandon Nimmo went 1 for 5 on the day, striking out twice, getting himself a walk. Not an awful day for Brandon Nimmo. You would like better, but not awful. Francisco Lindor, though. How about the fact that he had to deal with the whole Kipnis garbage before the game, getting asked about that? And yeah, he had himself a day against his former team, going 3 for 6, getting an RBI, a huge RBI, the walk-off nonetheless. Very good day for Francisco Lindor. Very impressive. Very impressive. And I'm one of his biggest critics. So for me to be saying that, huge. McNeil 1 for 4 with a walk on the day and an RBI. Not too bad. Not too bad from Jeff McNeil at all. Pete Alonso, 1 for 5, but that one hit, he made it count with that grand slam. He made it count. Very good work from Pete Alonso. Brett Beatty, the youth movement's here, and it's real. It's real. This lineup looks so much better and so much deeper with all three, Alvarez, Beatty, and Vientos in this lineup. It is crazy. When the lineup looked out, you couldn't even spot, really, except for maybe Marte and Automatic out in this lineup. You couldn't. And it's only a matter of time until Marte's out of this lineup too, and Ronnie Mauricio is here. I don't know how they're going to do that, and what you're probably going to have to move Jeff McNeil to the outfield. He might be unhappy, but I'm sorry. Could you imagine this lineup with Nimmo, Lindor, McNeil, Alonso, Beatty, Mauricio, Vientos, Canna, Alvarez? Holy crap, is that scary? But I digress. Marte, the aforementioned Marte, 0 for 4. Not good at all. Needs to be better. It's just that simple. And he hasn't been better. A 577 OPS is not going to cut it. It's not. That's not even MLB worthy. It's not. So he needs to pick it up soon. And I like Marte, so this hurts me. It hurts me. Mark Vientos, 1 for 4. Huge RBI, huge hit. Got himself a walk as well. Pretty good day at the office for Mark Vientos. Not going to complain. Mark Canna, 1 for 4, striking out twice. Meh. And then Francisco Alvarez, 2 for 4, 2 RBIs. A catcher that could hit. A catcher that could hit. When was the last time we've seen one of those? Mets were 6 for 11 with runners in scoring position. Isn't it beautiful to hit with runners in scoring position? RISP. We know what it is. Only 9 left on base. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Even at Eduardo Escobar, when he came in the pitch run, get a stolen base. Forgot to mention that. On the pitching side, though, definitely a bit of ugly. Definitely more than a bit of ugly. A lot of ugly. There was only 2 good pitchers in my mind. Well, I can't give crap to Tommy Hunter, but Carlos Carrasco, horrendous. And it sucks that the Mets really don't have options here. And it sucks that they went with this route, considering the fact that I tweeted earlier that they could have had Zach Eflin or Nathan Eovaldi for either cheaper or not that much more. But again, I digress. 3 strikeouts, 2 walks, 5 earned runs, 5 hits. I want to vomit. It's just that simple. I want to vomit. He was not good enough. Dominic Leone, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, and an inning of work. you want to vomit. You just want to vomit reading the stats. Nagosic, 1 hit, 2 walks. You want to vomit. Tommy Hunter only faced the batter, but did his job. Ottavino and Robertson, very, very good work from them. And then Drew Smith, you want to vomit with the 1 earned run and the hit allowed. At least he got a strikeout, right? Only 4 strikeouts for Mets pitchers today, which is absurd. And it's funny that Ottavino and Robertson didn't even have a strikeout, considering they were very good today. But that's just the way it goes. And then 5 walks as a pitching staff as well. 8 earned runs total. And yeah, 11 hits total. So that's pretty much all I got for you guys. Yeah, I think that's going to be where I wrap things up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for the first episode on this channel. We are going to try our best here. No guarantees to cover the rest of the season the best I can. I'm going to put my all into this. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you did stumble upon this, especially for the first episode, that would mean the world. If you would subscribe and leave a like on this, would mean a lot. And turn on your notifications so you know when we upload or go live next here on the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Let's go Mets.